Imagine walking into a museum thousands of miles away and seeing your history behind glass, sacred objects, royal treasures, artifacts that once belonged to your ancestors. But they're not in your country anymore. They were taken. This is the story of the disappearance of African artifacts during colonial rule, a story of power, loss, and a question that still echoes today. Where are all the missing treasures? In the late 19th century, European powers began aggressively expanding into Africa. This period, often called the Scramble for Africa, reshaped the continent. But it wasn't just land that was taken. History was taken too. Colonial expeditions often collected or seized cultural objects, masks, statues, jewelry, royal regalia. Some were purchased under pressure. Others were looted during military campaigns. Entire cultural identities were removed piece by piece. One of the most famous examples comes from the Kingdom of Benin in present-day Nigeria. In 1897, British forces carried out a punitive expedition. The royal palace was burned. Thousands of artifacts were taken. These became known as the Benin bronzes, intricate sculptures and plaques that told the history of a kingdom. Today, many of them are displayed in foreign museums, far from where they were created. And Benin was not alone. Across Africa, similar stories unfolded. From Ethiopia to Egypt, from Mali to Congo, cultural treasures disappeared into private collections and institutions. Many African artifacts are now housed in major global museums. The British Museum holds thousands of African objects. So does the Louvre Museum in France, and the Metropolitan Museum of Art in the United States. Some are displayed publicly. Others remain in storage, unseen for decades. In many cases, records of how they were acquired are incomplete or controversial. Were they gifts, trades, or taken during conflict? The answer often depends on who tells the story. Today, the question of ownership is a global debate. African nations have called for the return of their cultural heritage. Some countries have begun to respond. Germany has returned parts of the Benin bronzes. France has pledged to restore certain artifacts to African nations, but progress is slow. Museums argue that they preserve and protect these objects. Others say history cannot be preserved by removing it from its origin. It raises a deeper question. Who owns history? The people who created it, or the institutions that now display it? Part 5 More Than Objects, 8:30 to 9:30. These artifacts are not just decorations. They are symbols of identity, records of history, spiritual and cultural expressions. Their absence leaves gaps, not just in museums, but in communities. Returning them is not just about objects. It's about restoring stories. OUTRO, 9:30 to 10:30. Across the world, behind glass cases and locked archives, Africa's missing treasures still exist. Silent, preserved, but displaced. Some have begun the journey home. Many have not. And until they do, this story remains unfinished. A question still unanswered. Where are all the missing treasures? And who will decide where they truly belong? End title: Buried Truths History Unmasked.